Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. I am Norsidah R. BATO. We will discuss about goods and services of gross national product and gross domestic product. Gross national product is a term used as a measure of a country's economic growth and wealth is often misleading. There are certain situations wherein using GNP is useful, but if used improperly, it can confuse and deceive. In this article, we'll show you how to properly read the GNP map to make sure you arrive at your data destination safely. Goods and services. GNP includes the aggregate value of goods such as cars, houses, food, and drinks, as well as the value of services such as legal and medical fees that are produced and purchased by a nation during a given time period. The market value of this output is added together calculate GNP. GNP is calculated using the value of the final and only final goods and services produced. For example, timber is sold to a paper manufacturer. The paper manufacturer makes paper from the timber. The paper is then sold to a book manufacturer who then sells the book to a publisher, who sells it to a bookstore, who finally sells it to an individual buyer. In order to avoid double counting, only the final book price is used to individual buyer. In order to avoid double counting, only the final book price is used to calculate GNP. The value of the intermediary transaction is embedded in the final cost. GNP uses only the value of output currently produced, therefore it excludes goods of used items and existing houses. For example, GNP includes new cars or on dealers' lots, but not the used cars selling on the same lot. GNP versus GDP. GDP is another term, goods domestic product, is closely related to GNP, but there are differences between the two, whereas GNP is the final value of goods and services produced by domestically owned means of production using domestic labor and resources. GDP is the final value of goods and services produced within a given country's border. Part of GNP, therefore, is earned overseas, while some domestic production is added to GDP only. Nominal GNP measures the total value of all output produced using the prices of the time period. For example, the nominal GNP for 2000 is calculated using the 2000 price level as measured by the Consumer Price Index, while the nominal GNP for 2005 uses 2005's price level. The difference between these two figures is the rate of inflation during that time period. Supply two figures is the rate of inflation during the time period. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Maunte Albab. Now I'm going to discuss the components of gross national product. So, supply and demand. While gross national product measures the total supply of output produced during a given period, it then must also equal to the total demand. So, assuming there are no savings in an economy. The total demand for domestic output is made up of 5 components. So, what are these 5 components? So, the first one is consumption. The second one is government spending. Third is investment. Fourth is net exports. And the last one is the net factor payments. So, because gross national product must equal to the total demand for output, it can then be expressed mathematically by this formula. So, the formula is the GNP is equals to C plus G plus I plus NX plus NFP. So, the calculation is broken as follows, or the 5 components are as follows. So, the first one is the letter C. So, letter C stands for consumption. Consumption is the actual consumption spending of the household sector. It consists of food, clothing, and all consumer spending. So, consumption, meaning the consumption is defined as the use of goods and services by a household or every resident in a country, province, municipality, or so on and so forth. So, it is a component in the calculation of the gross domestic product. Macroeconomics typically uses consumption as a proxy of the overall economy. The second one is the government spending, or that G in the formula. So, goods and services are the next largest component of government purchases. These items includes the salaries of government employees, national defense, and state and local government spending. Government transfer payments such as unemployment compensation are not included. Meaning, government spending refers to money spent by the public sector on the acquisition of goods and provision of services such as education. So, government spending can be financed by government borrowing, taxes, custom duties, the sale or lease of natural resources, and various fees like national park. So let's proceed to the third one, which is the investment spending. So, investment spending is not what we commonly think of when we discuss investing. It does not include the purchases of stocks and bonds. Rather, investment spending includes business spending that will improve the ability to produce in the future. So, inventory spending, capital improvements, and building machinery are included in this category. Investment in housing construction is also included. So, meaning investments spending is money spent on capital goods or goods used in the production of capital goods or services. Investment spending may include purchases such as what I've said, machinery, land, production inputs, or infrastructures like roads, building, and etc. Now, let's proceed to the fourth one. Net exports. So, net exports are the component that is equal to exports minus imports. So, exports are these are the goods and services purchased by foreigners, while the imports or imports are the goods and services purchased by domestic residents. So for some time, the the United States has been buying more foreign goods and services than it sells abroad, which is resulted or creates a trade deficit, thereby reducing their gross national product. So, meaning the net exports are the measurement or the measure of a nation's total trade. Net exports are the value of or we can say that net exports are the value of a country's total exports and minus the value of its total imports. It is the measure used to aggregate a country's expenditures or gross domestic product. So the last one is net factor payment or NFP. These are the net amount of payments that an economy pays to foreigners for inputs used in producing goods and services. Less money the economy receives for selling the same factors of production. So, meaning the net factor payments are income earned by home residents working abroad or owning capital and land in abroad or in other country. So, minus the income paid out to foreigners working here or owning capital and land here or in your country. So, the examples are profits earned on capital owned abroad and wages or salaries earned by workers abroad. So, that's all for the components of and the calculation of the gross national product. So